So it's Wednesday night, got off work, heard a grinding in the brakes on this thing. This is my daily piece of crap right here. This is my 1998 Ford Expedition. So rather than it getting worse, it has 213,000 miles on it. I just figured it's time to do something about the brakes. So pulled it into the shop here. It's on the lift. I did disconnect the battery because this has the active, it's the air ride suspension, so it can move around and stuff. So rather than it getting weird and trying to hit a limit or do something goofy, I just undid the battery and put it up on the lift. Pretty simple when your running boards have rusted off, so there's that's nice. But anyway, this is my daily, so keep that in mind. This is just, I'm just doing a brake job. This is not a race car. This is just some junk. So first thing we're going to do is do this rear brake here. I'm going to take the wheel cover off, take the wheel off, and see what kind of damage there is first. So I kind of struggled with what should have been a pretty easy deal for a while because the rotor wasn't really seized right here. It was actually the parking brake. The cable right there had come and was like kind of like pushed out of here, so it was actually putting a little tension on the arm right there. So you just want to make sure that this cable's in all the way and that arm is pushed all the way back so that it pulls all the pressure off of this e-brake parking brake system. And so once that happened, it came right off. But I spent a while jacking around with a hammer and big screwdriver and just kind of trying to pry it off of there. But that was the hiccup. So now it's just replace parts from here. So you notice here how in the kit. One comes with this is the actual the cylinder side, and then this would be the outside. So it goes like kind of like that, how you see it. So anyway, notice how I have a pair, one of each side, and then also notice that like right here, it's a double and a double hook, and then on the other end, it's a single hook. That's what you're going for. You don't want to have doubles and then singles on the mismatched. So try and get those, whichever way you pick it, the same way. So I'm going to replace the little shims on there, pick those off with a screwdriver, and then put new ones on there. So that shouldn't be a big deal. I'm going to do that now. Okay, so now the shims are on. I'm going to stick this one into the actual brake caliper. Sits inside. And then this guy, you just got to line up those slots with the holes and push him home. You don't want to pry these back too much, or they'll lose some of their spring, but just gotta do it just enough to get over the ledge there. That kind of snaps in there. And then this guy, make sure you don't have a big twist in it or something. So whichever one you put the two teeth on, you want to make sure you've already pushed this pad back against, so the cylinder's bottomed out. So I was doing that when I was kind of prying on it. I actually just took a screwdriver in between here and here and like pulled out against the caliper to push it back in. So you just want to make sure that that's receded enough, because obviously now with a brand new set of pads and a brand new, in my case, rotor, that's going to be quite a bit thicker than what it was. So you get the two, side with the two started first. Right here, I'll start this side and then kind of flop that other one down to match. Okay, so there we are. Now all we need to do is put the bolts back in, which are right here. 210 mils. We're good to go. If these pins feel like sticky at all, those sliders, they're not pins, they're sliders on this one, then it'd be best to take it apart and throw some grease in there, but mine feel really actually pretty good, so I'm just going to leave them and not disturb them. I'll give it one extra spritz of brake clean really quick. Make sure most of my fingerprints are off of it. They'll burn off otherwise. And throw the wheel back on, which I'm going to rotate. So that's pretty much it. Do the fronts now. I'm on the other side now, working on the other rear. And something that I kind of didn't point out, or maybe I did, but is to take, when you're going around here, take your hammer and hit on this edge right here all the way around. That kind of like breaks the basic like rust welding that's going on between the face of the axle and the center. So if you can do that, go around, tap here all the way around, maybe a couple on the face, and you can already see how loose that is. And so do that, and you gotta hit it fairly hard, but do that and it'll come right off. So that's just because it's been on there and pinched between that wheel for so long. And then one other thing too, I've had this thing for a while, but one thing that can go bad is these lower arms. Mine was like really rusty when I got it, and obviously everything else is really rusty here, but that was one thing that was like kind of sketching me, was that I could actually see visible holes through this. So those are just like a stamped steel arm, and so you can get those. They're not too expensive. It's just a lower rear control arm, and I don't know, looks like my uppers are probably soon to follow here. So anyway, just check those out when you're under here. See if what your shocks look like, airbags, all that good stuff. Mine is like super clapped, so any of this stuff could be subject to be changed, but I'm just trying to get down the road. So anyway, that's just something I forgot to mention. Okay, so here I am on the front wheel now. I'm going to do basically the same procedure as the back. Pull off the wheel, undo the brakes, and just basically follow the same process. The only real difference that I'm aware of is that the one is, the back rotor was non-vented on the inside, so it's just like a single piece, versus this one is more of has vents on the inside, so it's actually kind of, kind of heavier and a beefier unit a little bit. So probably just bigger pieces, but shouldn't be anything too bad. The front left is the one that has like I would say, potential carnage. So we'll probably check that one out, see if there's anything good that went down inside that is noteworthy. But other than that, probably just do really one side, because it gets kind of boring watching the same thing over and over again. But looks like 2 bolts here, probably they're star bits, star style bits. So do that, and then it looks like the same kind of a deal where this side has 2, that one has 1, so it'll peel off like this, and then I'll want to match the calipers up the same way, or the pads up the same way, so they go back on. This one's a dual piston on the front, so I don't really know how they hold in there, but we'll figure that all out as we go. So anyway, gonna take off and do it now. So on this side, I'm gonna have to take off this bracket actually has to come off. So there's an 18 mil bolt on the back here that has to come undone, 2 of them. So do that really quick. If I can, but these look like they're pretty crunchy. So after a bunch of farting around with this thing, I finally got that rotor off of there, and it took that guy, and so I did that and hit it so hard actually that I broke the rotor actual brake part off of the hub part. So when that happened, good thing was it got a lot easier to come off. So it kind of was like one thing led to another. So it was like, not only was it rusted here and rusted there in the center, but also like around the rim here. It was actually like welded around that direction too. So, or rusted around that direction, basically welded. So anyway, now I can take a vice grips or a kind of like a clamp and push that back. And you want to get one of these guys, and you get right here and you push, clamp that sucker down progressively, and then while you're doing that, have this guy sitting in there like that, so you can pinch that whole group, pinch it all the way down, run these basically flush with this edge. Those will run back till they stop. That'll open it up all the way, put new pads in it, and then we'll be off and running. So I'm going to put the new rotor on here, then I'm going to put this bracket back on. Like, look at this mess, wow. So I was just, my phone cut off really is the thing, but anyway, I was putting this guy on here, and so kind of an easy way is put it up one way, and then you can just take it by the ends like that, flip it over, spray the other side. But one thing, if you actually cared about this vehicle, which obviously I don't, what you can do is right here put some anti-seize, grease, freaking used motor oil, anything that will kind of prevent that corrosion, WD, I don't care what it is, to keep that kind of oiled up so it doesn't end up seizing up on you again if you plan on changing brakes on these. But I would say, based on the holes in the rest of this thing, that these will probably be the last brakes that are ever on it. And it's at 213. I bought it at 188. Probably hasn't even had anything even done to the brakes since 150. So, and that'd be gracious at that. So, I don't know. I think they're pretty decent brakes wise. It's just it. I've been seeing too much, and the other side I think is pretty screwed up from what I can see here. So anyway, that's what you do, and I'm gonna start putting this back together and see if we can get out of here yet tonight. So you can see on these pads, only one of each pair has a wear indicator. So this thing will eventually, these pads will wear down, and eventually it'll rub against the rotor and make a screeching noise. And that's what, let's see, these ones had them. So you can see kind of where it was dang close. It would have been screeching here any day now. So once that pad would have eroded down till that level where that screecher was there, or wear indicator was, it would have really made a noise. So anyway, I can see from this that this was on the outside. So that's what I'm going to do with mine, is I'm going to put the wear indicators on the outside of each setup. So I got these clips installed, and you'll notice they're different. So just be really careful when you take yours off to make sure you know which way they're going on next time by. So I got those on. You notice this one's wider than this one. So anyway, only fits one way, so make sure you get that right. So I went in the back and got a little grease to put on these pins so they slide really nice. So put those back now. So each side will be the same in that I'm just going to rotate my tires while I'm at it. I'll have a good chance to do that. Keep everything nice and wearing evenly. Since the tires are probably worth as much as the car about, or vehicle about, so at least I'll get my use out of them, hopefully. They've been really nice tires. And then finally, when you're putting these on, you kind of do want to make sure you get them on there good, because losing them on the highway sucks. So give them a good wrap, and you want to make sure that they're, fairly evenly spaced. I could probably get a screwdriver in on each side so they're not like goofy and lopsided or anything. So that's pretty much it. When you do it on your car, be cleaner, and it helps to wash the vehicle beforehand, but you know me, weeknight, and we're just trying to get it done. So hopefully this gets you back on the road. Thanks for watching. If you have been through all this video, I hope it maybe been something, but if not, at least you know what not to do now. So maybe there'll be some carnage on the other side. I'm gonna go look now, and thanks for watching.